This is the third of 4 short excerpts from episode 16 of the Gale Hill Radio Hour, featuring Zane DeLong, YouTube creator of Welcome to the Mess Lab. Here he covers the movie House. He also talks about Great Walls of Cinema and the appeal of Brigitte Nielsen. I thought that your comments about House were absolutely terrific. This film is about confronting your demons from the past. Would you please talk about it?
Yeah. House is that it's the movie House made in the 80s as well. It's a horror comedy starring William Catt and the guy from Cheers.
Yes, the guy who played Norm, right?
Yeah, him.
Yes.
It's another one. It's like, star-studded sort of things. But William Catt is an author. He is writing about his experiences in the Vietnam War. But he's a horror novelist. But he's like, now this is what he's transitioning to, and his fans aren't really happy. There's a good joke about it where his publisher says, people are sick of hearing about the Vietnam War. They want to hear a good horror story, like
as if that wasn't enough horror, right?
Yeah, right. He buys an old house from his aunt who passed away, and then he decides to write in isolation there. It doesn't go as planned. His nosy neighbor, played by George Wendt. That's his name.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Also known as Norm.
Yes. He's nosy, and he also recognizes who he is.
Well, he was a fan. Wasn't he a big fan of his horror movies?
Yes, horror novels, yes.
Yes. I mean, that's what I meant, horror novels, yes.
Yeah. And yes. So they become like friendly neighbors, and then he gets roped into William Catt's visions of these weird monsters that kind of are wearing army helmets and stuff like that. And then it's about him discovering his his way through his sort of mental block, right? Through his PTSD. I'm sorry, he lost a child too,
yes.
But literally lost. He's where is he? To this house that has supernatural stuff going on. And it's about him discovering himself, and then his life is fallen apart, and he's kind of reached ahead at this point, and then he confronts it. It does it in a very simple way, but it's about how he confronts his PTSD and how he and
the grief and
yes.
and just everything. And I love what you say when I referenced your comments. Mm-hmm. I just loved what you said about the caring community, the small band of people who helped him through it.
Right.
You were so articulate and profound with what you said.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I felt that's what the movie was. That's what the movie was saying, and I wanted to make sure people knew it.
Yes, yeah. I thought it was really a terrific episode.
Thank you.
And there's another really terrific one called Great Walls of Cinema, which you did a while ago. It came out you posted maybe about a year or so ago.
Yeah.
Really interesting concept. So would you talk about that?
Yeah. I don't know about you, but when I'm not into a movie, I tend to just stare at stuff in the frame. And, obviously, how can you miss a wall? There's it's just there. And so I wanted to why don't I talk about walls and in movies? So that was a fun experiment. And just ultimately it was about kind of being it's sort of a Zen Buddhism sort of thing, just being in the moment, I think we all have those moments where it's we just want to kind of we're looking for something that, keeps us focused, right? Or we're looking for something to engage with, right? And maybe a movie doesn't do it, maybe it does, right? And the movies I listed are good movies, I think, but also I wanted to kind of talk about how breaking them down can only go so far, because you can't talk about just the walls without talking about the themes of the movie and what they're doing.
And what the walls mean in the movie. I mean, that was so interesting to me. I don't have examples because it's been a while since I looked at it, but at the episode. But I just thought you really talked about why the cinematographer you did what that person did, with the walls, and I like that so much.
Thank you. Yeah. For the listeners, to give an example, one I did was Possession, which Andrzej Żuławski, the Polish director, made a movie in the 1980s with Sam Neill, the Jurassic Park guy before Jurassic Park. The way they use walls is like there's a clean wall, they're messy walls, but like people's lives are in chaos, and so like there's kind of this aspirational quality of like the clean wall versus like a just these kind of sterile environments with these clean walls, and like but they're like arguing and they're like hurting themselves doing it, and like and so I use that as a comparison point to talk about like sort of a rift in how people see themselves and how people see their environment. Yeah.
Wow, that's good. So anyway, I remember that as being really quite stunning throughout the entire episode. And once again, your commentary was so interesting. So anyway, so let's talk about Domino, which so far has the most views of all your movies from the deep. There's a reason for that. So please tell us.
Yeah, so Domino is a spunky little Italian movie starring Brigitte Nielsen, the model and later action star from the 90s, 80s model who was married to Sylvester Stallone, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
And so like it's this interesting little feminist movie about like a woman who's just trying to find her purpose, and it's like a science fiction movie as well, but like it's not really interested in the science fiction. It's more of like using it to kind of like just provide like sort of ambience. It's cool. It's really neat. I think, and speaking to your point of why it has the most views, I recall at one point I was able to see like what people were looking up and why it brought them to the video, and it was like Brigitte Nielsen hot. Yeah. Like that's fine. I don't mind. Like,
so she has a following still.
Yeah, right.
Clearly, people wanna see whatever she's in. I think that's terrific.
Yeah, it's funny.
And maybe, they'll also watch the entire little feminist movie and get some ideas from that. I think that's excellent.
Yeah. It's a neat little movie, and I'd recommend it. It's another one of those kind of messy movies, but like it's a good one. It's good at saying what it's going for.
This is Kate again. To hear more about Welcome to the Mess Lab, you'll find other excerpts on this channel and the entire Gale Hill Radio Hour episode 16 on Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, iHeart, and other podcast directories.